2 days
It
later,
was a classic case of the flu. Bernard Crisostomo's father, Joaquin Crisostomo, had flu-like symptoms, feverish with yellow stool, and because of his age, at 67, Bernard called for an ambulance, and his father was taken to GMH and admitted into the telemetry ward. He then spoke with an in-house physician, Dr. Jeffrey Cruz, who told him that his father would be out within 3 days. That was on October 11th. But what happened next still remains a mystery.
2 days later, on October 13th, I get a call from the nurse saying my father fell. And I said, well, how did he fall? He just said he fell. He wouldn't explain. So he fell, and from the fall, he had an injury to the head, which I have photographs of. Mm-hmm. His legs started swelling, and then before you know it, his health just started to decline every day we went in there.
And you point to your right side, meaning it was here, in this area?
It was in this area right here.
Okay.
And this whole side of the body started swelling up.
After his father's fall, Bernard was then given a series of excuses, none of which answered any of his questions, he says. First, he was told by a staff nurse that his father had gout, which would explain the swelling on the right side of his body. The nurse then later took back her statement and said he didn't have gout and that they would run some tests. But Bernard says until this day, he has never seen the results of those tests, if they were ever performed.
So I asked him, I said, is he life-threatening at this time? Because my family in Hawaii wants to come out. Mm-hmm. Is he life-threatening? He said, no, he's not life-threatening at this time.
The next explanation for his father's mysterious condition, Bernard says, is that his father was dying because of his dental health.
The doctor said, I think your dad's dying because of his teeth. Exact words from Dr. Jeffrey Cruz. I think your father is dying because of his teeth. He said maybe they may be a bacteria, but he said that he has treatable antibiotics. But he said but he kept avoiding what was arising. He wouldn't say anything about the leg and the head injuries. He was alert, everything, before the fall. Mm-hmm. After the fall, he was kind of dazed and confused. The nurse asked him who my wife was, and he said, FBI.
Finally, 8 days after his father fell, Joaquin Crisostomo died on October 21st. Lacking answers, Bernard then sought to find out how his father sustained the injuries, but more importantly, why he died. But finding out what happened to his father, Bernard would soon find out was an arduous task with the runaround he was given. Even as he prepared to fill out a request for an autopsy, a grieving Bernard alluded to being insulted in the way he was treated by the hospital staff.
Sarah Rios talked to me a little bit and said, okay, here's the form. But she said, you know it's going to cost you $3,800? She started bringing money into...
$3,800 for an autopsy?
Yeah, and I said, money is not the issue right now for me. The issue is, why did my father die? That's all I would like to know. Right now, what was the cause of his death? Because it is unknown. And the doc told me 3 days my dad would be out. And now my dad is dead.
Meanwhile, GMH Administrator Joseph Verga acknowledged that he had received a complaint regarding Joaquin Crisostomo's death. While Verga says he and all of GMH sympathize with the Crisostomo family, a hospital is a place where sick people go and untimely deaths do occur. However, he notes that his death will be investigated just as any suspicious death is handled. For Bernard and his family, all they want to know is how and why their father died.
And a closure, most of all, is closure to my family, is that we shouldn't have other families in our island go through pain and suffering like this on a human life, especially a human life. I mean, if it could have been prevented, and let's prevent it. Let's not shy away from this problem.